All right, so learning the sixth string and doing some things with it. As far as learning the notes, I think you know some already, and so you'll have to kind of figure out where you don't know. Maybe you know it all by now. I'm sure you know G and A. Almost everybody knows that. And know that E repeats itself at the 12th fret, so it starts, the string is E, F sharp, G. But at least do E, F, G, A, B, and C, right? Is that what I wrote? As far as learning Ionian in those keys. And so for E, it's going to look different, at least in the beginning, than the rest because it has an open string. And so you can either follow your whole half pattern, or maybe you want to look at the staff or those kinds of things, but it's E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. What's more difficult is to go E, D sharp, C sharp, B, A, G sharp, F sharp, E. And so that's why I would recommend descending a little more than you ascend to balance that out. It's just harder to think backwards, and so naturally you'll always be better ascending than you would descending. So for each key, learn those shapes, those Ionian scales, and you can basically break that down into three shapes. The first shape, if you will, is Do and Re, which if I'm in E, is Do and Re. But when you play Mi, Fa, Sol, and La, Ti, Do, you really want to focus in on these two sets. And so, as I was describing earlier, you want to get in the habit, at least in the beginning, of doing all this, of placing your index on Mi, your middle finger on Fa, and your pinky on Sol. It wouldn't matter if I was in B, then it would be Mi, Fa, Sol. But once you know where Mi, Fa, Sol is, just start with that. Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, Fa, Mi, Re, Do. You don't have to sing it, but and in other words, don't just go all the way up to Do, the octave, and back. Kind of work out, Do. I gotta get my amp fixed. Do, Re, Do, Re. But know that when you slide up to the third, or just go to the third, it's going to be your index, and your whole half pattern would tell you that Fa is here and Sol is here. And then, of course, say the notes to, at least in your head, preferably out loud. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, A, G sharp, F sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, A, G sharp, F sharp, E. To get to the last portion of the finishing the scale to the next octave, Mi, Fa, Sol, you want to see, where Sol is. La is a whole step away, and you just want to get in the habit of jumping up with your index to La from Sol, because now you can finish the scale and stay in position. La, Ti, Do. Same thing when you're going back, when you're descending. Do, Ti, La, Si, Sol there just by interval, and know that your pinky goes there. And don't play so fast that you don't say the notes. Eventually, you see the note, meaning I know that's D, and so I don't have to say D. But because I know, because of doing all of this kind of stuff. So the advantage of having to say it is you probably will have to go slow. That's what you want to do, is go slow. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, D sharp, C sharp, B, A, G sharp, F sharp, E. With F, it's not an open string, so you can do a couple things. Well, I would just do this actually: do, re, so index and ring finger, and then jump. There's re. You know, mi is a whole step above that. So jump to mi with your index, because there again, your index should be playing mi, your middle finger fa, your pinky sol. There's la from sol. It's a whole step, and I'm going to jump up there to my index, and there is F. One added note. The thing about descending too, that you can only do so many things at once. The thing about descending too is, if I was in F again, at some point I know there is my home base, and I can see that that's re and mi, and so I'm kind of, you don't want to follow this, this way. You want to be getting in position, knowing what's about to happen. That's going to happen. And then already looking to your target note, your key center, in this case F, so that right now I can see F is there, and so I know where I'm going to, and I'm not just following intervals, which following intervals is great. Following the notes is better. But just pointing out, when you're descending, when you get to your mi fa sol shape, see that that's mi, even though you're right here. See, that's mi, and then re is a whole step below it, and do is a whole step below that. So practice it in F, G, A, B, or B flat, C, D, E, F, E, D, C, B flat, A, G, F. Heck, I had to go slow just to get it, because saying it out loud, playing it, talking about all that kind of takes up some brain space. So it's not the point to be able to play it fast, but you want to be able to have a metronome on at some point. And have some sort of rhythm to it, but never disengaging the name of the notes. I mean, it's just that simple. If you play a note, say the note. Meaning, don't get into some fast-paced thing where you just have the shapes memorized. That's good, but it's not going to bring out the full attempt of this exercise, and that is to learn the shapes and the notes. Because eventually, it's all one and the same thing. And depending on what moment you're in is going to dictate, are you going to look at it as solfege, or are you going to look at it as an interval, or are you going to look at it as a leading, whatever it is you're doing, your mind may think of it in a particular way, and you have all of those options, knowing note names, solfege, intervals, whatnot. And so when you get to G, guess what? Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. There again, do, re, 1, 3. I see mi, skip to it with my index. Now I know that this is mi, fa, sol. I just know because I know that is mi, fa, sol. And then kind of the opposite as I was going down. My index is here, but my brain is already up here looking to where is la. It's a whole step from sol. And try to actually, I'm going like this to get the do. Try to jump back into where you originally were, so that you have that jump instead of, that's okay, but try to, just a little more difficult, and it's the opposite of, and so you'll start associating that finger with the solfege and note name and all those kinds of things. And likewise, just keep going up. If I was in B, there's re, there's mi, whoops, and then there's la. Keep saying the notes And since you don't have keys memorized, you may have to look at a key signature, probably Google it or something, or just find the name of the note, meaning, for instance, in A there's 3 sharps, right? And so we have whole, which is B, whole, that's C sharp, and half is D, whole is E, whole is F sharp, whole is G sharp, and half is A again, right? Oops. And just go up into C, which will put you up here, and just finish those out. And then there again, like I say, be able to at least have some sort of rhythm to it. I'm sliding down. I'm not doing it exactly how I was saying to do it, so do as I say, not as I do. There it is. Work that out. That's probably going to take, it's going to take some time. And that's number 1 and number 2 from the thing I sent you. For number 3, arpeggiating, let's get to that after 1 and 2, because it's going to be a little annoying for 1, and some of it's going to be, you got some stretches. But I think it's going to be too much to do all of 1, 2, and 3 in a practice session and get enough out of it that you remember and not just get through it. So do that, memorize the note names, know when you get to the 12th fret you're at E again, and then the first dot here is G, and so is that, and the second dot is A, and so is that, and the third dot is B, and so is that, so that you could play the octave of A by going to this, second dot, G, B, then within that is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Work on that, and we'll talk about it next time.